Are you scared for your own life? Well, we've always known that it's a
So on MSNBC, they're asking this, I don't know, some politician from Russia, what it feel like to know that the government tried to kill you. And before that, they showed that clip of when they was talking to Trump, talking about, Putin's a killer, this, and that. He's like, well, yeah, there's a lot of killers out there. You think we so innocent? And everybody made this big deal about it, talking about he calling people killers and shit. But now they going full steam ahead with this Russia shit, and now they're trying to show make it look like a grassroots uprising, and they're getting in touch with people that's been targeted by certain forces of the government, which every country does. We kind of act like we don't, but we do that shit all the time, and bring them to light and give them, kind of like a platform to build up to show that Russia's non-democratic, and now we need to go against them. They're trying to build up and drum up, war drums like always, to show reason for why we need to oppose them. They need the public support. They need you to be mad at it and be like, Putin's unfair. He did this, he did that, he did this. And it's probably all true. It's probably all real shit. But we need to know, or you need to know, we've been doing that shit for the longest. When Trump said, what you think we so in it, we got all kind of killers. You wouldn't want to think so, or you wouldn't want to believe it, but there's enough shit that's out there, but it just ain't really out there, depending on who's putting it out, You know how many unsolved murders that are closely tied to a person are unsolved? To Hillary Clinton? 46. 46 unsolved murders of close people that are real close to Hillary Clinton. She got bodies, been dropping them off, and it's been reported. It's like certain shit's been known. It's somebody who's above the law, and they've been that way for a minute. You need to ask, what kind of power and connections you got to be able to do that shit? And people know it. See you off all the time. Nothing happened. You need to be scared of, if you want to have any kind of fear, people thinking, Trump gonna do this, he gonna do that, thinking about these potential, possible, hypothetical fears of things that somebody might do that showed no history of any kind of action like that, versus somebody that for a fact. Like you want to talk about where's the proof? There's all kind of shit out there. If you talk about that, you can pull all that up. That's who you want? This is somebody who should still be locked up. Not even just not having to see. I heard she's trying to run for something else. She's about to run for something else. And most of y'all, a lot of y'all gonna put her in too. But like, yeah. People cheering her return. They don't even know. You don't even know who you're dealing with. You haven't been paying attention long enough. I love that everybody's all involved in politics now. But you people that's brand new to this shit, just like sit down. Like you even know what you're talking about. You ain't been around long enough. You can't have a realistic, intelligent political conversation with most people. They run from that shit. They ain't got time for that. People more interested in sports and more interested in whatever, and that's fine. Do your thing. But don't come around now all high on emotion and shit, talking about what you think is fair and what's right, and talking about who's fit. Do you know what the role implies? Do you know what's needed? Do you know any of the characters? Do you know the supporting roles? Do you know the process? Do you know how this shit work? You know who pops up repeatedly? Certain people. But if you ain't been really watching, or this ain't really your thing, you don't know the certain shit. So just sit down. Like, you don't even talk about it. Just people so quick and so loud to speak on some shit they don't even know about. And it's causing a lot of problems. A lot of people less than you could say high positions within, the black community or whatever. They get a certain notoriety, a certain platform, certain people look up to and feel that, this is somebody who's smart, they got the answer, this is who we look up to. Because we're short on leaders, we're short on people who know what's what and who ain't, and who's loud about speaking on it. So we're going to gravitate to any force that's seems loud enough and strong enough, and then attach our belief systems with that, because we need that, especially at this time. This is that energy. It's time to move, but there's no direction, there's no organization, there's no setup, there's no foundation set, but we know what we need to do. You feel the energy rise, you know that something ain't right. You want to move. This is so much shit and aggression just being built up from, all these cops getting off these murders. It's on this dumb shit. It's just like, you got Black Lives Matter group, which is actually a false revolution. That's not the way to go. That's set up by somebody else. I feel like everybody know that at this point, that's some George Soros shit. Because it's just misdirected. I get the energy. I understand the reason why. I know the idea that you're trying to present. But you're attaching it, like your anger and the direction is being misguided So it's like a false revolution. They give you something to grab onto, like, yeah, you're right. But who they say to point out and attach your anger and your resentment and energy to is the opposite of where you should be going. You're being misdirected, and that's on purpose. First of all, you got to see that. Be done with that shit. If you want to address that issue, that's some other shit. What they talking about now? All right, commercial. But anyway, if we're gonna take the what seems to be or what's most likely the real oppressive force behind these unjust inactions, you gotta go more so after the system. Right now, we're fighting the symptom and not the cause. You're being pressed to want to oppose the police and the force and what appears to be the force that's oppressing you. But they're just doing their job because these are people that are of you. We're being policed by our own people, but they're doing it not by choice but by force. So you got to go by the puppeteer's head. You don't, why kill the puppet and leave Geppetto alive, kind of shit, So it's not the cops. Don't do that because they already set for that. They're building all these rises in energy and tension because you feel justly that you need to go against the oppressor in the system, but you're fighting the arm of it, but not the brain of it. But they're prepared for that because they've been bringing back MRAPs and all these kind of military vehicles from all these different countries that we stationed in all over the place. Ron Paul been talking about that, all this military intervention. But anyway, they're bringing all that shit back. They're preparing for war on you. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, what was it, like 1.6